It's No Sellouts. I'm your host, Tim Black, with my co-host, none other than H.A. Goodman. H.A., say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. I hope all is well.
There it is, man. This guy, look, I'm glad to have him back, guys. I thought I lost him to the Young Turks because he recently he went and did a show with Jordan. And, you know, I'm a fan of Jordan. Jordan's a real news guy. There's not a lot of news guys left like that. And I saw it, H.A. I was impressed, brother. Much props to you.
Well, thank you, Tim. You know, it was a fun time there, and it's always an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. And let's get this show started.
Yeah, man. There's so much to talk about, man. I know you talked about the usual, the email issue and things of that nature. I also want to get your take on this before we get into that, brother. What did you think about Elizabeth Warren stumping for Hillary Clinton today? First time I saw it.
I'm going to tell you something. I might write an article or do a YouTube segment, and it's going to be titled this: "You're not fooling anyone. We know you hate Clinton, Elizabeth Warren." Okay, because the thing is, we know it's like Lex Luthor and Superman hanging out with each other, or it's like two enemies, suddenly they're best friends. And Bill Moyers has a great video, I think it was done in the 90s or early 2000s, I think it was the 90s. Basically, Elizabeth Warren talks about how when Hillary Clinton was first lady, Warren tutored her on bankruptcy laws. So Warren tutored her on bankruptcy laws and said, hey, you know what? This is a Republican law, that bankruptcy reform hurts women and children. And then what Hillary did during the White House was she told Bill, and they blocked the bill. Eventually, when she was senator, Hillary Clinton went ahead, voted for the bill, the same type of bill that Warren basically explained, hey, it's going to hurt women, children, going to hurt families. And in the Bill Moyers article, talks about, in the video, she basically said, hey, you know what? There's so much money there, and the money spoke. So when Hillary Clinton got, a whiff of the money and she was senator, suddenly she changed her value system, and that's that. Right. But I just, Elizabeth Warren was a hero because a lot of times, sometimes you need no compromise. When you're a hero, you can't compromise things that could prevent the next financial collapse. So you're either going to break up the banks or you're not going to break up the banks. There's no middle ground. There was a Washington Post article today, in addition to one I talked about before, but there's a Washington Post article today basically saying that, Bernie Sanders supporters should be happy. So Tim, you and me and everybody, we should be very happy because instead of $12, there's now $15 minimum wage. We should be so happy for the $3 increase, right? We should just do cartwheels and backflips. And then they said in the Washington Post article, some sort of Glass-Steagall. Well, what the hell does some sort of Glass-Steagall mean?
Wow.
So it definitely not
a Glass-Steagall. Yeah, not a Glass-Steagall.
Cardboard Steagall.
Reverse Glass-Steagall. Right, right. H.A., every once in a while, man, I get the feeling that maybe you and I are like dinosaurs. Like we come from this weird age, I'm serious, because it's like everyone else is so pragmatic, man. I looked at the interview with Van Jones, with Cenk Uygur, and it was like, well, I have these plans to get through, and it really doesn't matter who the president is, and basically Van Jones made every excuse in the book for being basically a surrogate for Clinton. He every once in a while he throw Bernie Sanders supporters a bone, but for the most part, he was like, I know where my bread is buttered. And Cenk was right there. It kind of went along with it. And it's like, these guys are they smarter than us, or is it just that they have other motives? You know what I mean?
No, it's not that they're smarter. And what it is this, okay? Mm-hmm. A guy like Tim Black, a guy like me, there's other people out there. Not a lot of them, but there's some people out there like us. When we see a liar and a corrupt person, and a person we know doesn't have our interests, and a person like Clinton, who called black youth super predators whose husband presided over the greatest increase of mass incarceration in our nation's history. You take the first Bush and Reagan combined, it's not even as close in terms of the number of people incarcerated as in Bill Clinton's White House. So the point is, we know she ran a racist ad against Barack Obama, the 3 a.m. ad. Right. We know she lies about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We know she voted for the Iraq War because she's a hawk and a neocon. And when you look at Bernie Sanders, the biggest knock on Bernie is that, well, how is he going to pay for his plans? Well, how is Hillary Clinton going to pay for her neocon foreign policy? You know, she's advised by Henry Kissinger. So the thing is, when you and I, when we were growing up, okay, so I'm in my early 40s. When we were growing up, we remember a time when FBI criminal investigations were bad. Right? We remember that time. You know? Yeah,
I remember that time. That was like last week. It's still bad unless your name is Hillary Clinton. Is bad, brother. I just left the private sector, man. Government contracting 2 years ago, and let me tell you, I would have never been allowed in it if I had a criminal investigation of any sort, let alone an FBI investigation.
Exactly, and I was on CNN New Day with Victor Blackwell, and I wrote an article in the Huffington Post about how Hillary Clinton is the epitome of white privilege. And my question to you, Tim, do you think that if Michelle Obama became a senator, then Secretary of State, then she had an FBI criminal investigation too for public corruption and then for national security pertaining to emails, do you think Michelle Obama or Barack Obama in 2008 or any person of color could get away with 2 FBI criminal
Well, you know what? Let me. I hear you, and I want to answer this as thoroughly as possible, detailed as possible. Hell to the no. It would never happen. HA. They would crucify this woman. They would drag her from one end of the United States to the other, from Alaska all the way up to Albany, New York, all the way back down to New Mexico, the border. I'm telling you, look, people know that race plays a factor. And this is perfect because this leads into something else I want to talk about, but I'm going to back up just a minute. I will tell you this, man. The amount of Hillary supporters that I deal with on a daily basis, man, when they come across my content, who give me grief, you would think that Hillary could do no wrong, HA. It's like she is pure as the driven snow. And they actually believe it. And when I sit back and I just think, I say, wow, I never, ever put it in the context of what you just did. Imagine if it was Michelle Obama, because, hey, man, we already know she'd be done. I mean, hell, the things that they're saying about her now have been saying about her when she mostly stays out of politics. Yeah, she doesn't really even get involved and they still go after her. Unlike Hillary, who actually was meddling. It can't be meddling because I'm sure Bill allowed her to do it. But the scrutiny that Hillary got when Bill was president, most of it was because she was actually involved in policies. She was actually, she was actually someone she led up the healthcare charge. She actually did that without, being nominated for anything. I mean, just imagine if Michelle Obama said, hey, I want to take over foreign policy. Yep. I want to run this. Hey, well, I'm the first lady. I got a law degree. Well, so does Michelle.
Exactly.
But still, when people come for Hillary, it's always she's the victim, HA.
Yep.
She's the victim. Oh, poor Hillary, HA. Everyone just beats up on her. I'm not going to say that all of it is unwarranted. I'm not going to say every charge is based in reality, but a good number of them are, man. And let me ask you this, brother. So you brought up the prison industrial complex, and I hate getting on Van Jones, and you can always push back and say you don't want to answer because he is a colleague of yours. My thing is this, brother. Van Jones is all about lowering the amount of people in mass incarceration. He is against that. He has a nonprofit organization right now that fights tooth and nail to try to exonerate people who are wrongly incarcerated, people who are in jail for nonviolent drug offenses. This is the same guy who beat up on Bernie, who played up the Bernie bro myth right along with the rest of them on CNN. I'm just saying, it's more than just it's something that's tangible.
You know what it is? It's this. And the same dynamic is, you can see the same dynamic with the environmental organizations. So, and you can see the same dynamic with labor unions. So who stands to be harmed the most from the Trans-Pacific Partnership that we know Hillary Clinton is going to back? Because she pushed for it over 45 times. That's right, according to CNN. Labor unions. The top labor unions voted for Hillary or backed Hillary Clinton.
Right.
They're hurting themselves. Environmental organizations, a bunch of the big ones, back Hillary Clinton. She promoted fracking around the world. Bernie Sanders wants to ban fracking. So the point is this: it's the allure or the notion that, well, I have to side with political power, because if I don't side with political power, then I can't get maybe 10 or 20 or 30, 40, 50% of my agenda. And if I don't, and the thing is, you know what? A guy like you, Tim, the negotiation, when you negotiate with somebody, you got to negotiate from a stance of power. So my vantage point is, you say, F you, I'm not going to even vote for you if you don't do exactly what I say, or at least most of what I say. And if we know that Hillary Clinton is known to be a liar, and we know that she's a neocon, we know that she promotes fracking, we know that she takes money from prison lobbyists. So Hillary Clinton took money from prison lobbyists, and Ashley Williams protested Hillary Clinton regarding the black super predators, calling black youth super predators. But in the election cycle, she took money from prison lobbyists who stand to gain the most from targeting black communities across the country to promote mass incarceration. This is all Hillary Clinton. So when a lot of it is also a brand name. When you hear Clinton, and this is for everyone, all demographics, all segments of voters, when they hear Clinton, they think Democrat. When they think Democrat, oftentimes, unfortunately, in our society, they say, okay, the foil is a Republican. The antithesis, the opposite is a Republican. Right. So we gotta, and then I think that every day that goes by, I think Trump is just like a plant or somebody there. Yeah. I mean, you need the craziest, most insane candidate in Donald Trump to even make Hillary Clinton feasible as a candidate. Absolutely. Right? Could you imagine if they had someone decent, like someone not that I would vote for or that you would vote for, but someone normal?
Like Biden, for instance. Now, Biden has a lot of strikes against him. In fact, Bill Clinton threw him under the bus and said Biden was the one who wrote that crime bill. He's the one that threw the mass incarceration, 3-strike laws and all the other garbage into that original crime bill. But I think if it was a Biden, well, I guess you're saying a GOP, it'd have to be a Republican, right? My bad, Republican. Gosh.
That's even if it was, let me tell you something. If it, like, I don't like Romney.
No. McCain was less hated, right? Yeah, okay. My bad.
And if it was McCain or Romney or anyone, my point is she's beating in an average of polls, Real Clear Politics, little over 6 points. This is the Antichrist Donald Trump. This is the guy that everyone looks and like scratches their head and says, what? Why? And my thing is this: Bernie's still in this. I believe Bernie's going to win this because I believe the indictments are coming, Espionage Act and public corruption indictments. I think that every day we find out something new. And I don't think that it's true. The criminal justice system is obviously, biased against African Americans. Not everyone is treated equally, but I think that if you go up against very powerful interests like the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and you make them look like fools, which is what Hillary Clinton did, she made a mockery of the American intelligence community. So she's going up against very powerful people.
Yes.
I think they're going to fight back. I don't think they're going to, because the whole country knows what's taking place. Everybody knows it's like Clinton, and it's like an octagon, right? Yeah. It's like Clinton and James Comey and the FBI, and they're going at it in the octagon, okay? And Vegas has their money on Clinton. So the thing is, I'm saying to myself, wait a second. Everybody knows she's guilty of sin. You can't have a private server with 22 top secret emails on an unguarded private server that she disabled the security features because her emails were bouncing into spam filters. And it was unencrypted for 3 months. And the State Department doesn't know who had access to the server. This is and you have a tech background, IT background. I mean, what do you, when you hear, like, for example, her emails were bouncing into spam folders, and they removed the security just to fix that problem. From an IT background, what do you think? Wow. What does that say to you?
Wow. It's just horrible, brother. I mean, even the most laid back email administrator would have never subjected my emails to that. I mean, as a small business owner, someone who works for myself, I wouldn't do that to myself, let alone, if you're administering classified information, you work for the government, you're getting actual, classified information coming into your domain. Man, that's not something you would ever consider doing. You take everything offline, fix what you need to fix, and then you deal with it. You never remove the filters and more importantly, remove the encryption. It's not something you do, man. That's crazy,
I've had people contact me from they've had security clearances. They work in the defense industry. The veterans, and have people contact me, and they said, you know what? Anybody who did what Hillary Clinton did would have gone to jail.
Yep.
But very interesting, a number of people have contacted me saying that server belongs to the U.S. government, because when she had that special access program intelligence alongside her yoga emails, because Tim, we know that she loves yoga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love.
Yeah, exactly. loves yoga. 30,000 emails full of yoga. When you mix that top secret information with yoga, or definitely the foundation, Clinton Foundation, apparently, from what I've been told, people who've contacted me, that server is now a property of the United States government. So everything, when she wiped that server, that was not only obstruction of justice, that was which is a crime. That was another crime under the Espionage Act, because everything on that server was now owned by the United States government. So it's really crazy, that I want to read you something real quick. There was an African-American teenager who committed suicide, and it was in 2015.
Oh,
and his name is,
I know who it is.
Yeah, Khalif Browder.
Yes.
And
yes.
he was held in Rikers Island for 3 years. And apparently, if you read the New Yorker article, it was just like from a visual, like, oh, that's the guy type thing. And it was just, he was accused of stealing a backpack. Well, he didn't steal the backpack, but he didn't, he said, hey, I didn't do it. They gave him plea bargains. And, well, you know what? Admit to something you didn't do. You can get. He said, no, I didn't do it. This guy was never formally accused of anything. 3 years in Rikers Island with solitary confinement for over 20 hours a day. Solitary confinement. Okay, so God bless him. God bless his soul. Khalif Browder kills himself, committed suicide. After 3 years, obviously, when you deal with that hell and you're innocent and it's just for a backpack.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and you're a black teenager. You didn't commit a crime. There was no formal accusation that you committed a crime, but you're held in prison in Rikers. Hillary Clinton, the whole world knows that she is under F2 FBI criminal probes, and she wants to become president of the United States of America. Now, people will say, I know the Hillary bots who don't like me say, well, you're bringing up race into this and you're trying to manipulate things. I'm not trying to manipulate anything. This is the world that we live in. The world
we live in. But I got to differ with you on one point, AJ. Browder did commit a crime. His crime was he was poor, AJ. And when you are poor and you can't afford the type of representation a person with money can afford, you're going to suffer the wrath of the prison industrial complex. I covered that story, brother. I still remember it. It's horrible. They had film of this guy getting beaten.
I saw that.
Guards beating him and inmates. Yeah. I just want to make sure I get this point to you, because this is important. And though we make great arguments, you always make great arguments, HA. There is a number of Bernie supporters, brother, who are losing faith. And I don't just mean losing faith in the email issue, losing faith in the other probes regarding the Clinton Foundation, but they're like what's the word? They're getting disenchanted with Bernie Sanders, and they're saying, well, Bernie Sanders, he endorsed Hillary Clinton, or he's supporting Hillary. And I found out today, well, not today, but over the weekend, that Bernie, as a Democrat, he cannot say that he will not support Hillary if she wins the nomination. He can't say that. So exactly. Could you elaborate on that?
And you're 100% right. You're 100% right. See, my whole thing is this. People say, well, why doesn't he endorse Clinton? Okay. Number one, when you're Bernie Sanders cannot say, by the way, I'm not dropping out because my corrupt, lying challenger is under 2 FBI criminal probes. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her.
Right.
And she jeopardized national security. She put her foundation ahead of national security because all she cared about was her private emails about yoga and the Clinton Foundation. What is he going to say? What's Bernie going to say? Bernie's going to say, oh, by the way, Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, who is best friends with Clinton and the top Democratic fundraiser, has his own criminal investigation, and he's a superdelegate. Congressman Chaka Fattah in Pennsylvania going to jail. Assemblyman Sheldon Silver in New York going to jail. Right. Another one, Bob Menendez, Senator, New Jersey, is indicted. I mean, and they're all superdelegates. I named you 4 superdelegates. So he's going to say, what's Bernie going to say? Oh, to be a Clinton superdelegate, you got to have your own FBI criminal probe?
It would seem that way.
It's like they probably hang out and talk about, hey, I got a bigger criminal investigation than you do. Haha. And so the thing is, it's like Bernie Sanders is stuck because he's running within a political party where the top people are so overtly corrupt. And that's my problem that's why, like, we need Tim Black. We need Debbie Lusignan. We need Jordan Sheridan, Benjamin Dixon. We need these people because the thing is, I'm looking at the Washington Post every day. It's, Bernie, you should really leave. How dare you, Bernie? It's another day. And then this guy, this one columnist today, what's his name? So this one columnist today, he wrote in the Washington Post, Bernie has some nerve. And I'm thinking to myself, nerve? He doesn't have 2 FBI criminal investigations.
Right.
He doesn't have the negative favorability ratings where the whole country views him to be a liar like Clinton. The whole country views Hillary Clinton to be a liar. And the thing is like people say, well, she's been around. She's a fighter. She's been, decades. And well, if you are, the longer you're around and if people think that your entire career has amounted to being a liar,
right,
that's a problem. That's a big problem.
Well, you know what? They give her credit for being around. And looking back at Elizabeth Warren today, when I saw her talking about Hillary, she was saying how Hillary fights for the working people. And I'm looking like, what did she do? When was she doing this supposed fighting for the working people? There was a time, there's a break between Secretary of State and this year, right? She could have been giving speeches on poverty. She could have been giving speeches about getting people back to work. But no, she was on Wall Street, Elizabeth, talking about who knows what, because she won't tell us what she talked about. Making what, $750,000 talking to Wall Street. See, that's when she could have been doing what she needed to do in order to get our vote. Like, she knew she was going to run again. But that is the audacity, brother, where she felt like she didn't have to make inroads with us, that she didn't have to show that she actually was for the working people. Well, she went for the money. She went for the money, H.A., the money.
I agree 100% with you. And I'll say this. How many times did we hear the words NRA from Hillary Clinton before she said, oh, I hate guns? None. She never talked about the NRA from when she left her tenure as Secretary of State up until she began to run.
Right.
When Michael Brown died, was killed by the police, okay, she didn't go to Ferguson. She didn't even comment for 3 weeks. So she waited 3 weeks, and this is the Democratic, quote unquote, front runner.
Right.
My thing is this: there's a tremendous amount of groupthink And Tim, I think that you and I are old enough to remember when it was cool to be an individual. It was cool to be your own person, your own boss, and it was cool to look at things from a critical vantage point. Now, if you don't like play ball with everyone and follow what cable news says, right, and the Washington Post and the New York Times, and I get on these like number crunching geeks, I call them, okay, because they're always looking at, oh well, they never predicted Bernie, they never predicted Trump. They thought that Hillary Clinton would run away with it. They didn't predict that.
Right.
And the thing is, these are the people that are always cited. These are the people that say, well, the Washington Post, not 538 says this. They're always wrong. They're always wrong. Yep. And the thing is, my thing is, nobody looks at Hillary Clinton and says, let me remove the last name. Let me put a different last name.
There you go.
And am I going to vote for somebody advised by Henry Kissinger, who was advised by neocons, who takes money from prison lobbyists, who pushed for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, who pushed for Keystone, who opposed gay marriage? This is just, every constituent that she has, Hillary Clinton has hurt in some way. And for example, she went to a gay pride rally a couple days back.
I saw that. I saw it. Yeah. Right there with Reverend Al. I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. And so my thing is this. Number one, she opposed gay marriage up until 2013. Why nobody calls Clinton on this? I don't know. How many gay marriage?
You know why, HA? You said it. It's because of power. They want the power. They want to be around the power. Like I believe that both Cenk Uygur, I believe really in his soul, he wish he could support someone else. He wish he wouldn't have to try to find a way to make Hillary seem acceptable. I don't think Van Jones really wants to support Hillary Clinton, but he feels like, what am I going to do? I got to play with the cards that are on the table.
Let me tell you something. You have a lot of YouTube subscribers. You have a lot, okay? You built it yourself. You didn't have to kiss anyone's rear end. And it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. So Tim Black is going to continue to grow, and you're going to be your own voice, and you're going to offer something that other people don't offer. That's what I'm trying to do also. When you reach a certain status, like hopefully, I know you will, and hopefully I do, I'm not going to bend. So I'm not bending ever. So if suddenly Marco Rubio in a couple of years and I have, 1 million YouTube subscribers like Cenk Uygur or whatever,
right?
Or Van Jones, if Marco Rubio becomes a Democrat, I'm going to say no, I'm not. No, Marco Rubio. And the thing is, Hillary Clinton is the Marco Rubio of Democratic politics. If you really look at it, because she is a Republican on Wall Street.
Yes.
And that's the thing. When Elizabeth Warren isn't fooling anyone. It's kind of like, you're looking at this whole thing is fake and phony to begin with. And now you see Warren, and it just confirms that everybody, and it's not only about selling out, because I don't mind, like if it's like a hip hop star or whatever, like a music star, if they get really big, or a rock star, and they have a huge audience, I don't say, oh, that person sold out. I don't say that because because that's a big audience. That everybody wants that. Everybody starts off, they want a big audience. But when you totally trample and spit on everything that you stood for, and you make a mockery of everything you stood for, and you endorse somebody who is using you, like Hillary Clinton is using Elizabeth Warren, and it's sad, it's pathetic. I feel bad for Warren, and I feel bad for myself having to watch it.
You're right. But as I watched Elizabeth go through these robotic movements and cheering the crowd, and she was clapping so hard, AJ, at one point I thought she'd break her wrist. She was just, we're with her, and I'm like, no, this is you've been opposed to everything this woman stands for. Wouldn't you I would think whatever's inside of you just exits your body, like your spirit, your soul, whatever you believe that essence to be, would jump out of you, have an out-of-body experience, and be like, What are you doing, Elizabeth? You the same girl from Massachusetts. You know, you can't do this to yourself. And she did it, and she keeps doing it. And I'm thinking, man, it's got to be some self-preservation. Did you hear about the UN guy, Joe Ash, something Ash? A barbell fell.
Stuff,
yeah, barbell fell on his neck. We better be careful. We better be careful. Get us a security system. Man.
Yeah, you know, that is, if there was ever, you know, I don't know much about it, but I'll say this. If you're going to assassinate somebody, that there's no way that, because I lift weights, and there's no way that a barbell falls on you and you die. That's just not happening. So I would rather, like, I mean, you know, I don't want this, but it's like, if you're going to kill someone, just kill them. Don't put a barbell, you know, like, that's just insulting everyone's intelligence, you know. Right. But my whole thing is, you know, when you said about the clapping, and you said that, it reminded me, I think it was either Saddam Hussein or Joseph Stalin. And the thing is, that it was a story about where when he was giving an address to his government body, people were afraid to sit down and stop clapping because the first person to stop clapping might get it. And so the thing is, that's the thing. It's like this fear, and people have this fear. Let me tell you something. Nothing's going to happen to me. Nothing's going to happen to you. Christopher Hitchens, Gore Vidal, all these people, I mean, they spent their whole lives just ripping Clinton apart, both Clintons. You know, Hitchens especially. Right. And so the thing is, it's just my thing is, you know, I don't hang out with like people who are shady, or I don't like, you know, associate with people who could kill me, you know, and I don't, and usually almost everything that I write about is in the public record. So the thing is, there's so much in the public record that says Clinton should get indicted. There's so much in the public record that says if she were anyone else, definitely a person of color, but even another white person, she would have already gone to jail. So, I mean, my whole thing is,
but H.A., aren't we supposed to be having this conversation about Trump? I mean, everything they've been saying, the Democrats have been saying, has us so petrified of Trump. Trump's the evil one. But when we talk about people disappearing, people dying, people mysteriously just, you know, dropping barbells on their necks, we talk about Clinton. We're not talking about Trump. The worst thing Trump's done is, you know, screw people out of money who try to take a course, who would.
And Clinton did that too.
Absolutely. But you know, go ahead.
You know, the whole thing with Hillary Clinton people think she's very powerful. The reality is she's not very powerful, because when you have to raise that much money from the Clinton Foundation, and they got subpoenaed a couple months back, and there's questions about that. Her the DNC's top fundraiser, Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, he has his own FBI criminal investigation. She has two. Clinton has two FBI criminal investigations. But the thing is this, you know, it's kind of like you have your own show and you have a whole lot of subscribers. You speak to tens of thousands of people. What, 70,000 YouTube subscribers you have? Right. Okay, so 70,000 people. But you didn't lie, and you didn't change your viewpoint every 2 seconds, and you didn't promise somebody to be on a nuclear advisory board like Hillary Clinton did. Okay, you're building it because your message speaks volumes. So when Bernie Sanders, $27 a person, boom, he went up against a political machine. She doesn't even have 2,383 pledged delegates, and he's going up to the contested convention. Each of the super delegates, they're either going to jail or they have their own FBI criminal investigations. It's totally corrupt. But you need that money when you don't have a message, when you don't inspire, when you're shady and you're corrupt. You need the money. If you actually stand for something, you don't need a foundation that is really a money laundering organization. You can actually be like Bernie Sanders, you know, inspire people, make people hope and dream for the future. And then boom, you're going to get that money to compete. Right. But you know, people don't want to take a stand because they're either afraid of the backlash, or they think that, you know, if I can get 30% of what I want, because, you know, politics nowadays, you need money, and, you know, Clinton, and this whole thing with Bernie being a socialist, he's a democratic socialist like FDR, like Teddy Roosevelt. Like we've had democratic socialists before.
Right.
So, and, you know, Bernie, to like, you know, a lot of European countries, they look at him like Warren Buffett. So he's not even like, he's not even a socialist, you know? So the thing is, you know, you know, when I watch your channel and when I watch some other people's channel, I know that there's a reality out there, and it's not like some state-run media where, you know, and they're calling her the presumptive nominee. They're treating her like she won the Democratic nomination.
Right.
Every single day, Tim. And if it happens on July 24th, cool, I'm okay with it. But every single day, I'm going to talk about the indictments because the FBI has until July 24th. If they don't indict Clinton, they are going to be working overtime. The FBI is going to be working overtime. And she's going to have a private server in the White House. It's going to be 4 years of chaos. And then we get 8 years of, you know, somebody crazy like Ted Cruz or whatever. And also, I'll tell you this, the only way for a Trump presidency, if he would just shut his big fat mouth, and I don't want Trump to be president, okay? But he would just shut his big fat stupid mouth, and he would just act like pretend to be normal. You don't have to be normal. We know you're not normal.
Right.
We know he's crazy.
Sit on your hands.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. No gestures.
Yeah.
No making fun of disabled folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do that, and you can skate through.
Yeah, read a script, do whatever you need to do. But if he would just shut his mouth for long enough to make the majority, a lot of people think that he's just normal because he invited Clintons to his wedding. Donald Trump and Saudi Arabia gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Clinton Foundation. Actually, Trump gave 100,000. Saudi Arabia gave 10 million to 25 million to the Clinton Foundation. Saudi Arabia and Donald Trump do not have the same value system. Okay. And we know what the Clinton Foundation did to the people of Haiti. Right. Okay, they were supposed to help the people of Haiti, and they gave homes that or formaldehyde,
moldy, infested, dangerous places to live. Not to mention what she did, Secretary of State, when she bargained with the country to get that minimum wage brought down. So horrible, brother, horrible,
absolutely horrible. So my whole thing is, we gotta wait. Everybody has to be patient. Every single day, Bernie is not going to concede because there's nothing to concede to and there's nothing to endorse.
Right. But HA, please, man, we have to let people know. And I've been saying that. I had a show last Friday. I said exactly the same thing. I had a guy go up and some people agree with him. They're like, no, Bernie should do more. Bernie should go independent. He should not do anything until after the convention. Whatever he's going to do it after the convention.
Yeah, you should not do anything until after the convention. And the thing is, it's kind of funny. It's almost like I view it as like a state-run media, like in the Soviet Union, where people were like, they're so scared. Like you're gonna back Clinton, right? Because Trump. Don't worry about Trump. I always say, don't worry about Trump. He's gonna go golfing with Bill. When it's all said and done, they're gonna laugh with beers and we went ahead. We pulled the fast one over everyone. And the thing is, Trump, the neocons, they're openly backing Clinton because they want to send more Americans back. The big thing that drives me is this. I don't want more Americans being sent back to the Middle East. I don't want more Americans. I don't want any Americans ever again, or I don't want any more Americans to die in counterinsurgency wars where, Tim, half to 2/3 of all the Americans who were killed and wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan were the victims of IED blasts.
Horrible,
so we're fighting IED bombs, these little booby traps and right. Big. And if you go on YouTube right now, and I urge your watchers, your subscribers to go on YouTube for a second, put in IED blast Iraq or Afghanistan. Tim, the whole block blows up. It's like a huge, enormous explosion. And this is what our soldiers are. She wants to send more. And Bernie says, I'll be damned to more quagmires. So the thing is, if we have the misfortune and if the FBI wants to hurt themselves, because if I'm the FBI right now, it's self-preservation mode. And I'm cool either way. People say, well, what are you going to write about, HA? Oh, you're going to be wrong. Hey, I'm cool either way because I'm going to write about this crazy person in the office who
Right.
has her own private server. So I'm
Right.
still going to write. The country is going to go backwards in terms of she is not Barack Obama's legacy. She's going to move the Democratic Party and every progressive movement to the left. If anything, if I'm a progressive organization, I want Trump, because it's going to mobilize me and I'm going to be stronger. If I have Clinton, she moves everything to the right.
Right.
And so progressive politics and everything, environmental, race, foreign policy, is moved to the right.
I see Clinton as nothing but a Republican. I'd call her a Republican in dim face. Not black face, but Democrat face, or dim lace. I don't know. But yeah, that's what she, and I get the pushback all the time, HA. I'm used to it now. But I just want to say, for the record, guys, it's this whole go blue, unite for blue. Trump is scary. Oh no, we're going to have a Trump presidency. It's going to be all you Bernie bros' fault. It's going to be your fault, Tim Black.
No,
it's going to be the Democrat Party's fault for giving me a candidate who I could not vote for because I have, I don't have a strong enough stomach to swallow that. Okay, so that's their fault. I mean, if I go to your store and look, you got no counter, nobody working the counter. The food sucks. I see roaches. Whose fault is it that I leave and don't buy? That's your fault, homie.
Exactly. And you know what? Nobody is going to force you or me to vote for somebody under 2 FBI criminal investigations.
They're trying to. Actually, that's what they're doing. They're forcing not only you and I, the whole country, the whole world is watching this and they're laughing, or they're shaking. I don't know what they're doing.
The world is laughing. The world is laughing. But I'll tell you what. Hillary Clinton is friends with Donald Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump said that she was a great Secretary of State. Donald Trump goes golfing with Bill Clinton. Donald Trump, not only did they go to the wedding, but he gave money to the Clinton Foundation. So this is a game that they're playing.
But HA, if he's such a bigot and she's such a philandering jerk and an ass, why was she friends with him?
And that ties into why she's married to Bill. But the point is, you know what? It's a charade, and the only real person in 2016 is Bernie Sanders, and this says something about America. What do we do to the only honest candidate? What do we do to the candidate that we know is telling the truth, that we know has no ambitions for this big power play and Clinton Foundation and golf courses like Trump? We do everything possible as an American political establishment to marginalize Bernie. He's still in it. And that's the thing. You know what? Like you said, Tim, there's no reason for Bernie to give up. And if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, stay strong. You got until July 25th. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. That's it. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Stay strong. And real quick before I go, this whole notion, this whole ridiculous, stupid notion that, well, it's hurting her general election. Like Trump doesn't have the internet. He can type in. He can type in. Tim, all Donald Trump has to do is type in 1975 rape case. Hillary Clinton is laughing that the criminal, the rapist, the child rapist that she defended, she knew he was guilty, and she's laughing that he passed the polygraph.
Yep.
That's sick. That is sick.
But no, she's not laughing at that. She's laughing at the ineptitude of our judicial system. Yeah. She found that part, none of it's funny. First of all, if you got a system that's that broke that a pedophile gets off, exactly. How is that funny at all? But somehow, HA, they find a way to push her through the jaws of I don't know, man. Purgatory. Look, one question for you, HA. Yeah. Tim, please ask HA if he thinks Bernie's staying in until the convention and not endorsing Hillary because he has an idea of what could happen with Hillary, but won't say it publicly so as not to look like a sore loser, sour grapes, or conspiracy theorist. That's sort of like what we've been saying, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. The person asked something, very good question. 100%. Bernie Sanders cannot say, hey, I'm waiting for the indictments. So he can't say that. He didn't talk about the emails to begin with. And if the tables were turned, Tim, she would have called him a treason traitor. She would accuse him of treason. She would have said he was a traitor. Oh my God, they're so dirty, the Clinton campaign. They would never stop. But he can't right now. she's the presumptive nominee. So all the establishment, I mean, oh my God, they would go crazy. Could you imagine, Tim, if Bernie one day, and that would be like the best thing for me, I would love it. But could you imagine, Tim, if Bernie one day said, you know what? I'm waiting for her ass to get indicted. I want her to go to jail.
Epic. Oh,
epic.
He'd break the internet, HA. Internet broke, forget about it.
All media. And so the thing is, you know, she would say that, though, and everyone would be okay with it. Yeah. So, I mean, because she said, hey, you know, Bobby Kennedy was assassinated late in California, so I'm going to wait against Barack Obama. The first African-American president where everyone was saying, oh, God, be careful. You know, there might be some crazy racist out there. You know, be careful, be careful.
Right.
She brings up Bobby Kennedy. So she's there's no depths to where she won't go. Bernie, if she said she wanted Bernie to be indicted, if he had 2 FBI criminal probes, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Everybody would say, that makes sense.
Yeah, I have an obligation to stay in it because anything can happen with Bernie. I mean, this is for the American people. Oh, my God. Today, she actually said, HA, I wanted to just throw up over my iPad, man. She said, I'm running for president because I want to help people.
Yeah, right. She wants to help herself.
No, right. I want to help people. No, you are a power-hungry woman. Period. You just want the power. You want the money. You want the power. You want the prestige. You've been this close to it, and now you want it. You're back to get it. That's all it is. But her supporters, oh, I'm with her. Yeah, I'm with her. Just eating that Hillary pie, the Hillary pie. So, HA, man, look, guy, I thank you so much for coming through. I know you got
for having me.
Hey, man.
No, I really appreciate it. It's a big honor for me. I love your show, and I love your subscribers, and I love everything about your show, man, because you keep it real, and you do everything. You remember a time, and you kind of represent a time where America would not stand for a presidential candidate who could go to jail. So you represent that time, Tim.
It's crazy. Let's like HA, you represent a time when people used to hug their kids and tell them they loved them. You know, it's like, what? You know, you're supposed to do that. Yeah. You represent a time, HA, when you didn't push old people down the stairs. You know
what? No. Look, a couple years from now, 3-4 years from now, when Clinton's indicted and Barack Obama, President Obama pardons her, if you're watching 5 years from now, just remember, Hillary Clinton has 2 FBI criminal investigations, one for public corruption and one for national security, jeopardizing national security. And everybody wants her to be president. The one person who's honest, Bernie Sanders, they want to leave, even though he has no reason to leave. We're waiting till July 25th. I'm hoping the FBI does the right thing. And I thank you so much for this great opportunity.
One last question, HA. Are you going to the convention?
Yeah, I don't have any plans at the moment, but you never know. I mean, you never know.
We should try to raise you some money, man, to get you to go, man. Is it a financial issue or a family issue?
No, it's not a financial issue. More of a family issue. And I don't really have any plans to kind of go. I don't really. I mean, look, it's gonna be.
I'd love to do a show with you live there. That's why I'm asking, man. I'm not prying. That would just be so cool, brother. That's all.
That'd be amazing. Let me tell you, I'm gonna have to. I have to really think about going because I do believe the indictments are imminent. And I definitely, Bernie's going to take it. When she gets indicted, Bernie's going to take it. So then I have to reconsider going. But I don't have any plans at this moment. But I would love that. I would love that.
Man. We love you, HA. Thank you for being here.
I love you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No barbells. No barbell lifting.
I got a spotter. I'm going to like 3 spotters.
That's it, man. All right, guys. You got it, man. All right, guys, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the show. H.A. Goodman, man, a class act always. Always we have a great time when we do this show together. Do me a favor. Go subscribe to H.A. Goodman. I can't believe you're not subscribed to him at this point, but if you haven't, please go make that correction right away. All right, go get him on YouTube at H.A. Goodman. Find him on Twitter at H.A. Goodman Author. Also, find him on Facebook. H.A. Goodman. Find him on the web at HAGoodman as well.com. All right, guys. Thanks to you again. This was a great show, and we'll be doing it again. This is it. I'm Tim Black. You just watched No Sellouts with H.A. Goodman. Peace.